I thought today was probably one of the better practices that we've had over the last month. Seemed like the guys had a lot of energy. So that was good to see. Continuing to working on our plan. Just looking at us offensively, we've talked about this several times. We've got to be more explosive in the run game, in the throw game, be more consistent on third down. Got to control the ball more. We've had too many times that we've been 3 and out, and then obviously the big thing is talking about turnovers, not turning the ball over. So seem to be more healthy or healthier than we've been. So that's a good sign defensively. Probably made a few moves on the defensive side to give guys different looks, and I feel like the guys have really kind of bought in and trying to execute at a higher level. We obviously, some of the things we talked about the last game, I felt like we were very poor when it came to tackling. Too many yards after contact was not very good defending routes down the field. Got to do a much better job converting off play action passes with our defensive front. Need to play lower, need to play harder, more consistent with more strain. Have to be improved on third down. And then when we get in the red area, we've got to hold people to field goals and obviously creating more turnovers. So it's things that we've been focused on for a couple of weeks here and trying to re-emphasize back in camp mode, and seems like our guys have seem to be fresh and have a lot of energy. So it's been a good 10 days here.
Questions. We'll start with Rob Lewis, then we'll go to David Ubben.
Coach, you had a lot of guys banged up and in and out on the offensive line. Are you healthy there now with Wanye and Jerome this week?
Jerome's been battling this turf toe for a while. Last week we kept him out the entire week. So that and then having Tuesday off is probably good for him again. So it's the healthiest he's looked since the Missouri game. So that's a promising sign for him for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we can keep him healthy and he can get back to playing, because he's a guy that we feel like can play at a high level when he's healthy. So, and the other guys up front have continued to improve and get healthier for sure.
David?
Jeremy, when you talk about some of the intangible parts of playing quarterback, setting your protections, checking out of plays, how would you describe where the guys behind Jared are in that respect to playing the position?
Well, the most important thing to me as a quarterback is getting the other 10 guys around you to be at their best. You want the quarterback to be at his best all the time, right? But there's probably going to be days where maybe the quarterback's not at his best. To me, that's where leadership comes in. Getting the other guys to rally and be at their best. Also, kind of having a sense when you go out on the practice field or during a game, having a feel of how practice is going, a game's going individually, understanding the guys that you connect with and maybe the guys that you don't, but understanding who the other leaders on the team are that can have an effect on somebody maybe you don't connect with. I think all these intangibles are important. That's something that, that I feel like you kind of have, but I also feel like it's things that you can develop and you can coach into guys and make them aware of it.
Gustavo, then Vince Ferrara.
Coach, you spoke about quarterback. You had also good practices. So are you confident Jared Guantano is going to be the starter on Saturday? How do you see the quarterback battle for this upcoming game?
Gustavo, I couldn't sound like you're talking right next to your microphone. That sound like you asked about the quarterback for this game.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I hear you much better now.
Okay, I'll ask it again. You said you had great practices. You talked about the quarterback situation. So are you confident Jared Guantano is your starter for Saturday? How do you see the quarterback battle?
Yeah, Jarrett will be the starter. He understands our expectations, and I felt like he's had another good week. Continuing to do the things that I'm talking about, getting the guys around him to play at a higher level. It's one thing about on the offensive side, it takes all 11 guys to play together. Defensively, you can have a couple of great players, and they can just kind of make some plays sometimes. They're kind of erasers. But offensively, you can have 10 guys do exactly right, and maybe the left guard gets beat or doesn't do it the right way, and it messes up the entire play. You can have 10 guys do it right. It only takes one guy that can create a bad play offensively. That's why you got to be able to play as a unit up front. That's why communication is so important, playing together. And that's something that we've tried to focus on, continue to focus on over the last couple of weeks.
Jeremy, one of the players mentioned that they had a sit down and just talked about needing to change the culture and, trying to get this season turned around right now. Is that something that the players did on their own? They've kind of compared it to last year a little bit as well, where there was the meeting and then, seniors help lead and keep everyone accountable. Was it something that was initiated by the coaches? Is it a players type of meeting? What do you know about the players coming together and talking about culture and turning the season around?
Well, I don't know as much about culture. I think the big thing is, and it wasn't initiated by the coaching staff. We have our own meetings and stuff with the players, but just creating the right habits. There's certain individuals on our team that were limited and for certain reasons over the course of the last 6 to 8 weeks. Just getting everybody to play at a higher level all the time. And if you look, there's been times this year on both sides of the ball that we've done that. But we've been very inconsistent in all three phases. To sustain and be productive in this league, to win games in this league, you got to do it at a high level all the time, and it's based off the habits that you create. And to me, that's been the focus for our entire team, really since I've been here. But there's one thing to talk about it. There's another thing to do it on a daily basis. It's something that we really try to take one day at a time and focus on it. And so we can get a product that shows up on Saturdays where we can play a complete game.
Tim Owens and Blake Topmeyer.
Jeremy, I know, especially with just a 10-game schedule, every game in college football is a big game. But coming, 3-game losing streak, you got some really tough games later in the season. How important is it to have a good performance on Saturday? And what are the keys for you guys to have a good performance in this one?
Well, I think first of all, playing together. We've talked about it. Not turning the football over. Getting turnovers on the defensive side of the ball, playing cleaner, executing at a higher level, so it all goes back to really just execution. So, I think that's something that our guys understand, something that we've been working on hard to improve. We've had good practices the last couple of days. So that's been a positive sign.
Blake?
Jeremy, perhaps I'm incorrect on this, but I feel like, have you guys been going under center a little bit less than you did in your 2 previous seasons, aside from the jumbo package stuff? And if that is the case, what do you think the reason is for that? And would it be any consideration of adding some more under center type stuff?
Really the first 2 years being here, we were probably limited in number of people on our team, just scholarship wise. We were somewhere between 65 and 70. If you looked over those years, we were really trying to shrink the game, just because numbers. We knew the more snaps that you played over the course of a season, which really, or over the course of a game, was really not in our favor. So we really tried to shrink the game. This year, we felt like that, with our scholarship numbers, when we were healthy, that to give us the best opportunity to be explosive on offense was to probably run the same plays that we would not normally run from under center, but add RPO elements, add opportunities to throw the ball down the field to create some of the advantages that that the rules allow you in college football right now.
And then if I could ask something on a different note, you mentioned earlier today some false positives. Have you gotten your Tuesday round of testing back, and do you know whether you're going to have a clean bill of health on the testing front from those Tuesday tests?
Right. We still have one more test for this week tomorrow, but right now everybody's COVID free, so that's good. I think it was an unusual deal that maybe at the testing facility or whatever, but we went through the proper protocol there with the SEC, and everybody came back negative.
Last two questions, Trey Wallace and Matthew Ray.
Jeremy, what's the status on linebacker Jeremy Banks? How's he coming back from that ankle? Any kind of other updates when it comes to injuries from the defensive front and guys getting back, especially like Elijah Simmons as well?
Yeah, Jeremy really, he had an ugly injury. It unfortunately early on in the Kentucky game, and hopefully he'll be ready to play this week. We kept him out of practice last week. He's practiced for 2 days. Today he was pretty sore from it, so it's just one of those high ankle sprains that it takes a little while to get over it, but he's a tough guy, and I think he'll be ready to play some snaps on Saturday.
Hey, Jeremy, you talked about using the open week to get all of your QBs, equal reps, and now moving into this Arkansas preparation. Have you guys been able to identify a true number 2 behind Jared, or is that competition still pretty open?
No, it's pretty open. It's pretty open. It's pretty common in young players. When you talk about consistencies, getting these guys the amount of reps really to where you kind of got something to judge them off of. So that's one thing about having the scrimmages, and then having an open week's been good, especially with Brian and Harrison. Their reps were limited, when we were kind of in camp mode. So just trying to create really a volume of plays to where you can judge exactly where they're at. So, they continue to work hard. I see both of those guys do a lot of really good things, but they still have a lot to learn. And they're working hard at it to do it every day.
All right. Thank y'all.